Good morning, everyone. It's Rose Coleman coming to you live from my craft room here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It is Wednesday, July 16th, and I'm so excited. This is a great day. Today is the first day of the virtual album retreat. Now, this is a retreat that's going to run for 3 full days, 8 hours each day. It's virtual. It's on a private Facebook group that you get entry into when you purchase your virtual album retreat kit. If you're with me and you are participating, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know who's going to be with me these next 3 days. I won't be live for 8 hours straight, and I know a lot of people are commenting on the group that, you know, we have lives and commitments and work and family and all of those other things, right? But rest assured, the videos will be there on the Facebook group for at least 30 days, right? Because Facebook holds on to videos for 30 days before they have to recycle them. But Stampin' Up! Has assured us that they are putting those videos onto a YouTube link, and we will get access to them. Because we purchased the kit, right? So if you want to get in on this, you're not too late. You're not too late. You can purchase your virtual album retreat kit. And yeah, TJ is ready to go. Yes, I am too, TJ. I cannot wait. It is going to be an exciting event, and Joy's looking forward to it. I am as well. It's you get to do a whole album, a 1-year album, 12 2-page spreads. And what I mean by spread is when you open up your scrapbook album, I like to do my pages side by side so that when I open the album, they're all, you know, they just flow nicely that way, right? So they have designed 12 layouts, one for each month of the year. And you can choose what year you want to do, right? You could do January to June from this year and then keep on going with the rest of the months. Or you could go back and look at your photos and maybe pick a year, pick 2024 or 2023. They're actually giving us a lot. There's a whole box of products that came, and I'm over the moon excited to actually get to play with them. I had to resist, to be honest. I had to resist. I didn't want to cut anything. I didn't want to touch anything because they're going to be teaching us new techniques every day, right? There's going to be presenters on the Facebook group, and we're going to learn new things. I love learning new things when it comes to stamping. Count me in. I'm so excited to learn things that, you know, we're going to learn things in the scrapbooking retreat that I can actually use in my card making as well, right? Because they overlap. The two hobbies overlap. Memory keeping and card making overlap. So we're going to learn things, techniques, tips that you're going to be able to use in both, right? So if you haven't signed up, if you haven't purchased your virtual album retreat, go ahead and do it. And then your box will be on the way to you, and you will be able to do this at your leisure when you get some free time. And you don't need to have 3 full days blocked off. You can do a little bit here, a little bit there. I spoke to a team member, or I was texting with a team member that I know purchased the virtual album retreat, but she's away right now. So she's going to be doing it when she comes back. So no pressure. It's totally supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. So I may not get all 12 layouts done by, you know, Friday. I got a lot on my plate here as well, but it's okay. I will do what I can and enjoy the videos that I can watch, and I will go back and I'll rewatch and I'll catch up. And that's the fun part of this whole virtual album retreat thing. Okay, so that's what's happening today. That's why I'm super excited. For us here in Alberta, in Canada, I'm on Mountain Time, which is the same as Utah. It's from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So a little bit late for me. I'm always in bed by 10 for sure. So I won't be up till the end of today, but I'll pop in and out, you know, between doing my work. So I'm excited. Alrighty, let me know when you are joining me. Let me know where you're joining me from. Hello, Krista from Nova Scotia. Hi, Lori. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here with me. I have the third card of the week. I'm doing a Christmas series this week, right? It's a Christmas in July series, and I'm playing with the Jolly Holly bundle. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is an amazing bundle. I love all of the greetings we're going to be able to make, every time I play with it, I think of more ideas. So I'm going to be able to make my Christmas cards with this one. I'm going to be able to make tags. I'm going to be able to make a home decor piece for someone as a gift. Like, there's a lot you can do with this one. And you don't need to wait for the holiday catalog, which will be out in September. You can grab this one now because it was released on July 1st with the online exclusives, right? So lots of fun things. I'm going to play with this one today and share another card with you. So let's flip the camera and get going here. Thanks everybody for popping in. Hi, Brenda from Trenton, Ontario, another fellow Canadian. Thank you so much for being here. Alrighty, here we go. We're going to flip the camera and point you down at my work surface. All right, 1 second here. Okay, so we got some blue skies. I finally got my plants back up on the fence from that big storm that we had on blow through on Sunday. That was just a rare, what can I, you know what, I was going to say rare, but really, that's not really true. Here in Alberta, in Calgary, where I am, anything can happen, right? We can get snow any month of the year. Okay, so hopefully no snow today and no hail. Alrighty, so if you haven't joined me all week, let me share with you quickly what this product suite, it's not a suite, it's a bundle. What this bundle includes. It's called Jolly Holly. The item code is 166120. It's $73.75 here in Canada before shipping and tax. This will qualify you for 5 of these cards and your card kits, and you're going to be able to use your own stamps and ink when you get the card kits and make your 5 Christmas cards. And maybe you might fall in love with one of them and want to mass produce that for your own Christmas cards this year, right? Okay, so you get the stamps, you get the dies, but this is a special one because it is a hybrid, Jolly Holly hybrid embossing folder, which, let me just grab it. Here it is, the hybrid folder. I have used it both days. I'm going to use it again today because it is so fantastic. So what you do is you take your folder and you just lay it, or you take your big die here and you lay it on top of the folder on the side with the Stampin' Up! Logo. Lay the flat side down so the blades are pointing up. And then you just kind of slide it with your thumb until it sits in the grooves, and then it stays put. And it cuts out in partial. So some of the leaves will be popped up. You can fluff them up. Some will be cut, none cut out completely, but you can go in with your scissors and snip out the leaves if you want to have isolated leaves. So there's lots and lots of options with this folder. Today we're going to use the folder by itself. We're going to use it as an embossing folder. So let's move the dies out of the way. And what I'm using is a piece of, let me show you the package. This is the Turtley Sweet two-tone cardstock. So you know turtles, right? The Turtley Sweet, Turtley Cute bundle, and the paper. They actually have a package of 12 by 12 two-tone that you can buy that will coordinate with your designer series paper. So this is it here. You get, let me tell you the colors. So you get 12 sheets. You get crushed curry, garden green, granny apple green, pink, petal pink, pool party, and poppy parade. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 different colors, 2 of each. So this is a great way to get your hands on the two-tone cardstock. If you didn't already order it last week with the special, it's okay. A lot of people are opting to order these packages that coordinate with our paper, and then you'll still have 2 sheets of 12 by 12. So what I've done is I've taken the garden green. This is what it looks like. You get a dark side, you get a light side. See that? Dark, light. I can just do a little quick fold here. You can see there's the two-tone effect, right? So I've already gone ahead and cut a piece of this 4 by 5 1/4, and I ran it through the folder. Now that's a 3D folder. So you're going to get a really deep impression. And what I did then is I cut it on the angle. Okay. So this is what I have here. I have I started with 4 by 5 1/4. I ran it through the embossing folder. And, let me share with you also, when you're using the folder and you want to decide, right? So I have the dark garden green. I wanted my little holly leaves to be coming out of the, I wanted the bumps to be coming out of the garden green. So what I did there is I laid whatever part you want to be embossed, you lay that down, face down on the side with the Stampin' Up! Logo. So you can see my light garden green on the back here is like a little bit of indent, right? So those leaves are still there, but they're an indented form. So if you like that, you could do that as well. But I wanted to have the garden green pop up like that so that I could then do my favorite technique with the folder is to scuff it up. I call it scuffing. But you can call it whatever you want. I'm just looking for my sanding tool here. I had a little sand eraser. Maybe you guys have seen me use that, right? The little sand eraser. Is it under my sign? Nope, not there. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anything that you have in your possession. I'm just looking through my drawer here to see if I have a nail file. You could use a nail file. You could use one of those sand erasers. Mine will turn up later in the video, guaranteed, right? Oh, there it is. It was sitting on my ribbon. Okay, thank you, St. Anthony. Okay, so this is a sand eraser, but you can also use one of these sanding blocks, and you can tell mine's been around the ringer because it's got a lot of green cardstock in it. But this one little sand eraser, and it's got green on it too, but I'm not too worried. You can take that. I like using the sand eraser for doing small parts. So if you want to come in and just use your whatever tool you're going to sand with, I'm going to just go over the raised part of my embossed piece. So I'm going to go over the leaves, and I'm going to go over where the holly berries sit, and just gently, because you can always go back and do more. So you don't want to bend your paper or tear your paper. We're just gently sanding it. And adding, what I love about this technique is that it's adding lightness to your cardstock, and it's making those holly leaves stand out brighter and just so beautiful, right? We're just highlighting all of this, and you can go over the little dots that are off in the distance there in the background, and just, I call it scuffing it up. So we're doing that. Okay, so then we're going to do that on the big leaf down here. There we go. And if you don't have any of these tools, you don't have a sanding block, or you don't have sanding block or a sanding eraser, don't worry. Go out in your husband's garage or wherever and get a piece of sandpaper. That works just as well too. Okay, so there, I'm happy with that. You can see I've highlighted all the white parts, and now we're going to get going. I can see that I have people with me, but somehow I'm not seeing your comments. That's really weird, but I'm not surprised because sometimes that's how it goes. We're just going to keep on going here. So that's going to be on the front of my card. I'll share with you what we're going to do with that in just a second. For our card base, we have cherry cobbler, 8.5 by 5.5 scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Bringing in my bone folder, I'm going to just gently burnish that score line, make it nice and flat. And then I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, what should I do on here? Bringing in the Jolly Holly stamp set, we're going to grab this stamp right here. This is the poinsettia, the little poinsettia, and we're going to do a little tone-on-tone stamping on the background. So let's open our ink pad, and we're just going to do a little bit. Now, I'm only going to do the top right corner of this cardstock because the rest of it will be covered up. So just going to come in here. We're doing cherry cobbler on cherry cobbler. If you don't own a cherry cobbler ink pad, well, I suggest you get one because it's an amazing color. But it's okay. You can get this tone-on-tone effect by using Versamark as well. Okay, so you can use Versamark. That is our sticky ink that you use for embossing. And just going to grab my wipe here and clean up this excess, because I did, when you go off the edges of your card base, you do get, just get the water off. You do get some on your glass mat. Okay, so there's that tone-on-tone with the poinsettia. Now this piece is going to go right down here, and because I've cut it 4 by 5 1/4, I do have that little bit of a border on all 3 sides. So let's go ahead and add our glue to the edges of this. I really like the light shade of the garden green here too. It's so pretty. So lots and lots of options with the two-tone cardstock. I am loving this new addition to our Stampin' Up! Collection of cardstock. It's not as thick as our regular cardstock, but boy, oh boy, it has a lot of great features. And I love that we have all the colors, right? How fun is that? Okay, so there we've got garden green with cherry cobbler, very classic Christmas. Then what I did was I brought in the dies, and I'm loving these two rectangles, stitched rectangles. The large one, I went ahead and I cut out a piece of our gold foil. Then the smaller one, I cut out of basic white, okay? So we're gonna do some stamping on there. So we got lots of options with the stamping. So we're gonna grab our stamp set. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm gonna do this beautiful cursive font. We can spell Merry Christmas. We could say Happy Christmas if you wanted to. You could say Happy Joy. All kinds of different combinations, right? And you have here like the other like typeset font as well. So you can mix and match everything. But I'm gonna use traditional Merry Christmas on the front of my card. And so let's do, I'm gonna actually stamp Christmas first. So ink that up with cherry cobbler. We're gonna stamp that at the bottom of this rectangle going across in the horizontal direction. There's Christmas. Now you could change your colors. You could do a garden green with Merry, but I'm gonna keep it real simple and do them both in cherry cobbler. So let's go ahead, stamp the Merry right there, okay? Got that. All right, so now I've gone ahead and from our dies, I always like, if I got a photopolymer stamp set to work with, I like to cut out the shapes. So I've cut out this one right here, which is the holly berry, which matches this card perfectly, right? So there's the holly and the leaves. And so I've cut one out already. It's right here. And we're gonna stamp with our memento, black memento. Love black memento. And this is the ink of choice if you're using blends markers to color, okay? Okay, so here we go. We're just hovering over that die cut and then stamp straight down and straight up. There's our holly. Okay, so now we can grab our, I have cherry cobbler blend here on my desk, so I'm going to use that to do the berries. Okay, so there's the berries. And then we're going to grab garden green Stampin' Right marker. You could grab your marker, or I want to show you another, oops, I just put my thumb in that ink pad. This is what, that was my thumb in the stays, or not stays on, oh gosh, it was stays on, that's permanent. Memento. Okay, so we got that cleaned up. Easy peasy. So I'm going to open my garden green, excuse me, ink pad, and we're going to bring in, you could use your marker if you want to, but I want to show you another tip. This is called a blender pen, not to be confused with the the blends markers. The blends markers are alcohol-based, right? It says right on the bottom, alcohol-based ink. And they are like a square kind of a rectangle kind of a shape. Our Stampin' Right markers are water-based. It says right there, water-based dye ink, and they're like a round, you know, a round marker, right? So difference there. So we got Stampin' Right, Stampin' Blends, which is alcohol. So water, alcohol. Then we have this thing. This is called a blender pen. And some people I've met have never ever heard of a blender pen, and there's really nothing in it. It's dual tipped. It's just basically a mixture of water and glycerin. And when I started 22 years ago, almost 23 years ago, these were all we had. We used to use these. You can use them with your ink pads. You can use them with chalks, pastels, anything goes. And you actually get 3 of them. I only got 2 right here. I think I have 1 in my other room, but they come in a pack of 3. So essentially you're getting 6 tips because they're exactly the same. So here's what you do. You can take your blender pen, doesn't matter which end, and we're going to dip into your ink pad. And you just get a little bit of color to go a little ways. And then you can go back in and get more if you want, or you can just blend it out. See that? I'm blending out that color and getting a lighter shade around the leaf. And then when I want more, I just tap on my ink pad again, come back in and add a little soft dusting of color. And this really, I really love using the blender pens, and I often forget about them. And today I thought, oh, we need to use a blender pen. Okay, so there you get, let me hold that a little closer so you can see. You can see the shading there. And all I used was one ink pad and a blender pen. Now I could have used my cherry cobbler ink and also done the berries as well. So this is a great cost-effective way if you don't own all the ink pads, or you don't own all, if you don't own all the blends, or you don't own all the markers, get yourself a pack of blender pens so that you can color, okay? So when you're done with the color, you're probably thinking, but now what about your blender pen? I'm just grabbing a piece of scrap paper or cardstock. There is some staining that happens, and that's okay. This has, right now it has garden green on it. So I'm just gonna work that off onto my scrap paper. So you can see it doesn't go very far, right? I'm gonna run out of color. You do have to go back in, but that's the beauty of these blender pens, because now I can go back into another color like my cherry cobbler and pick that up, and I could have done those little berries, right? Like that. And there we go. I can work off the cherry cobbler until I don't see any color. But the tips of these blender pens will stain, but that doesn't mean that they're not working, okay? So that's just a little tip for you today about blender pens. Don't forget to snap your cap back on and enjoy those. They are fun, especially if you like to stamp with your grandchildren or kids. You know, that's a great one to teach them how to color with a blender pen, right? Okay, so back to the card. We're gonna glue this on, glue the Merry Christmas onto the gold background, and we'll just use a little bit of glue there. And I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the back of my die cut where the holly berries are. Okay, so we're gonna put this on here. Loving the stitched rectangles. These are fun. Okay, so there's that. This little holly berry is going to be on my card on the corner. We're gonna just put that like a little accent. Look how fun that is. Easy peasy, right? And then I thought, well, I was going through my stash and I found this cherry cobbler and gold ribbon, and it's no longer current, but I have a bunch of it, so I'm sharing it with you guys. Maybe you have it in your collection already. If you're from Canada and you place your order with me this week, I'm going to send you 6 inches of this to make this card even more special. Okay, so we're taking our scissors. We're going to snip 6 inches. I'm using the bottom of my Glass Mat Studio to measure. And we're going to take this ribbon and fold it into one of these little, I forget what this is called. There's a name for that loopy loop thing. So we're going to put that on the back here. So what I want to do is, first things first, we're going to get our tear and tape, put a piece across the back like that, burnish and lift. Just like a yoga class, right? Burnish and lift. Okay, so what I would recommend is take your ribbon, make your loop. You can bring back your silicone mat, because remember, this is your friend, and you can lay down the loop the way you want it, like that. This is how I did mine, and got the tails all the way I wanted them, and cross it over like that. There's my loop, okay? And then take your greeting and simply just lay it right on top of the ribbon. And then when you press it down, it's going to adhere to that tear and tape. And then you can grab your other piece and come on the back here and anchor that down like that. So you've now got your little loop, right? So flip that over. We're going to bring in our dimensionals. I'm using up my ends here. I've got lots of scraps. We're going to put those on the corners. Don't waste your scraps. I know you guys don't. Take your snips and go around the edges and snip your dimensionals and use them up. Okay, so here we go. We got this. Let's peel off all the backing. I'm just going to leave that tear and tape there, and I'm not going to peel that one off because it's not going to do anything. It's just sitting there. The purpose, well, it is doing something. It's holding my ribbon in place, right? But this is going to be anchored by the dimensionals, so we'll let them do their job. We're going to come in here and put this easy peasy right in the center of the card like that. So fun. You could whip up a ton of these cards in no time, right? Really, really pretty. And then we're going to grab the inside piece. So I have my piece here, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to grab the stamp set. And you can see there's lots of other things that you can put on the inside. Bright and happy Christmas wishes, holly jolly, wishing you and yours all the best. I love that one. May the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love. Oh, I love, love, love that greeting. So we're going to use that one. And you can choose what color you want to stamp that. What did I do on my sample? I did garden green. So we're going to do that. We're going to stamp with garden green. Got that on my block here. And we'll go tap, tap, tap. Get it inked up good. And we'll stamp that in the middle here. Like that. And then that holly berry that we still got on the block, and we still got all of our coloring things here. And let's bring that into the middle of our card. We're going to stamp that down at the bottom. Boom. Easy. And then we'll bring back the blender pen. Let's do the blender pen. We're going to do the garden green on the leaves just to match the front, right? Do your solid color in the center and then blend out that green. And you can see on my second leaf, I'm running out of color here, but you know what? You can probably make it work. So I only tapped like a little double tap. You can come back and get more color like that. And then when I'm done, my scrap paper, which I've thrown out, grab another piece. Whoa. You don't need a very big piece here. I've got a little circle here. Okay, so make sure you work the color off onto a piece of grid paper or scrap paper. And then we'll go back to our cheer cobbler, tap, 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 and then we will color those holly berries. Oh, such a great tool, the blender pen. Can't believe I haven't used it for such a long time. There we go, working off that color. Alrighty, so now we're gonna put that on the inside, and I got a little bit of bling to go on the outside. I'm gonna give you guys a little sprinkle in your card kits. And here's what we'll do. We're gonna bring in our liquid glue, and we'll put that on the back of our inside piece. A little bit. Try to get dotted lines if you can, because a little bit of glue goes a long way. All right, so there's the inside. Make sure it's straight, because it will drive you crazy probably. It drives me crazy when things are crooked. Okay, there we go. There's the front. Now, we can take this glue. I'm going to add a dot there and a couple of dots out here, like that. And then let's open up this little package of loose gold sequins. Simply go in with your take your pick tool. The putty end is nice and sticky, and you can just go in there. You can do a little dive, a little nose dive, and pick up your sequins. However you pick it up is the way you're going to use it. And then just, yeah, you don't need to be fussy about it. Just put that on top of the glue and let it sit for a couple minutes and let it dry so that they don't fall off. There we have it, all the gold, all the beautiful white core from that two-tone paper is coming through, and there's the inside. I hope you like this card. I had a blast making this one, and it would be so fun, you know, and easy to make a bunch of these cards, right? The traditional Christmas red and green, we had to do it, right? I'm not seeing your comments, so hopefully if you've left me any, I can see them on the replay, but I'm going to flip you back around here. Thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday, hump day, as Krista says. And I hope if you're doing the virtual album retreat that you're going to have a blast today, and that you'll be posting in the group. I will see you. I'll be there. I'll be catching up on, everybody will be catching up on, if you're missing today or a part of today, we'll be going back and reading all the posts and watching the videos. So I hope to see you there. Alrighty. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. I hope you liked this card, and I hope you're going to grab this bundle. It's called Jolly Holly. The item code again is 166120, and you're going to have so much fun with that embossing folder, the hybrid folder. So beautiful. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for card number 4 using Jolly Holly. Bye for now.